I'm here in Shunfu Rd looking for Lai Heng fried Kuay Teow and cooked food in search of the best Char Kway Teow in Singapore. Last 3 episodes, baby! We are on the home stretch now. I have left all of the most popular places to the end, so it will only get better from here on out. Today's stall, Lai Heng, was recommended in the comment section so many times. And I trust your comments more than I trust my research. 2 things. 1, I think this is a young hawker that has taken over. I'm not sure, although passing by just now, I saw a lot of people in the kitchen. We'll find out. But if we have learned anything from places like Menki or Xiaoti, is that age doesn't matter. And 2, they serve a mean Otak, which is basically a spiced fish cake. I have zero reason to doubt that it will go very well with Char Kway Teow. Let's get it, guys. Hello, 4块的加 Otak。包的。吃的。要。西哦。谢谢。拍那个15。啊，拍15的，对。好好，谢谢。Okay, we got a wet version today, but the color is not very dark. It is still that light brown that I like, that I think Char Kway Teow should be. And immediately they win the award for the biggest hum. Holy! This is the biggest one we had so far in the series. Anyway. A common criticism for local Char Kway Teow is that I don't like it, it's too sweet, I get sick of it after a while. That is wrong. Lousy local Char Kway Teow is too sweet. Our plate here, despite being a wet version, is so well seasoned that you get none of the annoying sweetness. When you bite in, there's an abundance of egg flavour and a good amount of spiciness. You would think looking at something so thick and oily that it might be very heavy, but this is calibrated so well. Second hit, the cockles are huge, the biggest in the series. And the more I eat it, the more I think, who is the genius that came up with cockles in Char Kway Teow? The flavour just fit like a key in a lock. I literally cannot think of a better compliment than blood cockles. The Otak is okay, I don't think it's very special. In fact, real Otak should have more haters. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I believe Otak was invented because fishermen at the port had too many leftover fish, so they had to make something with it. But fish, when you keep it, no matter what you make, right, it becomes very smelly. So they decided to make a fish cake with tons of spices, so many spices, such that it drowns out the fish flavor. That theoretically cannot be a friendly flavor. But nowadays, I think that Otaks are just glorified fish cake. I know it's a wet version, but the Kuay Teow is slightly too much. I don't believe there was a pre-cook of the noodles in order for them to harden up a bit, such that when you cook it into the wet style, it's a bit too much. I have trouble just trying to pick it up. It will be much more practical to eat it with a spoon. It is not that obvious in a wet version like this. You can get away with it, but I do miss that little bit of texture around the edges. Second miss, there's no pork lard. And I believe, I read online, that you have to ask separately for a pork lard version. This is not the first place that is like this, that if you want a pork lard version, you have to ask for it. But I think for Char Kway Teow stalls, there should be a sign to say that, if they are doing such a thing. I know cooking the pork lard version is more expensive, and personally I'm even okay with paying more for a pork lard version, but it needs to be obvious. If I go to your store for the first time, I wouldn't know what's your default. Are you going to use the pork lard? I would assume yes. I'm just going to order the Char Kway Teow how anybody orders the Char Kway Teow. 4块的加 Otak. And the last miss, there's a lack of wok hei. Understandably, because they are a wet version, when there's so much moisture in the wok, it's very hard to get that browning on the flat noodles, which then suggests that they should have pre-cooked the noodles, but overall it tastes very friendly. I wouldn't question it if you told me that this came out of a zi char stall. 1 noodles I'll walk for the Char Kway Teow, 2 noodles I'll take a bus for the Char Kway Teow, and 3 noodles I'll go anywhere in Singapore for the Char Kway Teow. And Lai Heng Char Kway Teow is 2 noodles. Overall, a very friendly plate of Char Kway Teow. I feel like I can eat this 3-4 times a week. None of the flavors are exaggerated like the sweet dark soya sauce or wok hei or saltiness or oiliness, which makes this very palatable. But on the same note, it is also a little less outstanding this way. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys this time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!